Lighted? Check. Sparkly? Check. Adorned with beautiful flowers? Check. Stay tuned to see how to make this eclectic, from the inside out wedding centerpiece. For this project, you will need 3 of these vases that I got from the Dollar Tree. You will need this fishbowl vase. You will need 1 of these styrofoam flats. It comes in a pack of 2. You will also need a pack of these dome lights. You will need a ribbon in the color of your choice, of course, to match your flowers, your color scheme. You will also need some spray paint, and I sealed my foam in the sealer glitter blast. You will also need a spool of these acrylic strung gems, as well as a various assortment of flowers. Your tools. Let's get crafting. Now, the first thing you're going to have to do is take your styrofoam flat and spray paint it. I took mine outside prior to filming, of course, knowing what I wanted to do, and I sprayed my flat in this shimmer metallic Krylon paint, front and back, around the edges, and I set it to dry for about 5 to 10 minutes. When it was dried, I went back in and I sprayed it with this Krylon sealer, glitter sealer, and I left that as well to dry for 5 to 10 minutes. When it was finished, it looks like this, and so I'm just gonna set this aside until we're ready for it. Now, the first thing that we are going to have to do is make our base for our centerpiece. And I found these vases when I went to the Dollar Tree about 2 weeks ago, and I got so excited. It looks like etched glass. The glass looks almost like if it's broken, but it's not. And I think that this is going to be wonderful when we set our light, more surface area from which our light can refract. And so what we're going to do with our first vase is we're going to turn it upside down, because we're going to be putting one of these dome lights underneath. That way we can turn it on, we can turn it off, we don't have to leave it on. It's not stuck if we were to seal it in the vases. And so what we're going to do, we're going to go in with our E6000 glue, and we're going to give that a double tap with our hot glue gun, just to make sure that we will be able to keep working as the E6000 sets, and that hot glue holds those 2 vases together right away. So just a few pellets going around the edges, a little in the middle, and then I'm going to place the bottom of that second vase onto the bottom of that first upside down vase. And once we make sure that those 2 vases are set and they're centered, then we'll be able to go in on top with the same process, E6000 glue, hot glue gun, and then affix the 3rd vase on top of the second. Now, while I am using my E6000 glue, you're noticing that I'm being very careful to stay on the outside of the rim of that vase, because as I have discovered in some other crafts that I did, whenever you seal E6000 glue on the inside of glass or even acrylic, sometimes it tends to fog up or cloud up the inside of that glass. And so trying to keep our work as neat and as clear and as finished as possible, putting that E6000 glue around the outer edges, and then using that hot glue on the inner edges to make sure that we get our permanent as well as our right now fix. Just pressing it down to make sure that we have a nice seal, and then we're going to set this to the side. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to create a foundation upon which our acrylic beads can be attached. And what I did here was using, of course, the prototype as my measurement for doing anything. I went in and I had an idea already about how many of those gems I needed on a string. Just to show you the process that I used to figure that out, I went ahead and I placed my styrofoam flat on the top of my vases, and then I placed a string of beads from the top of that styrofoam flat and measured how many beads it would have taken me to get to the bottom with no dragging or no draping, just enough so that those beads could hang freely. And so what I found for that length, I needed 23 beads altogether. Now, of course, if you are making this, you can make these shorter, you can make these taller. It just depends on the length that you need and the height of the centerpiece that you are building. So now that I have cut my first one of 23 beads, I'm gonna bring in the set that I pre-cut in order to, or rather I should say in preparation for this video. And what I'm going to do is I am going to lay these as quickly as possible, looking to see which side of the ribbon is the shinier side. And I'm going to use E6000. I'm going to lay a little bit of that E6000 glue, maybe a quarter of the length of the ribbon. And then with my hot glue gun, I'm going to go maybe about halfway of that, because we don't want that hot glue to dry on us while we're laying these beads. And what I'm going to do is just simply place the first bead and the first bead only in that glue mixture that we made, because what we want is for those beads to hang freely. And so just going in and laying them one at a time, first bead only, as fast as our hands can take us, because we do not want that hot glue to dry on us. The E6000 gives us a longer time with which or in which we can work, but the hot glue, crafters, we know it comes out hot and steamy, but the minute it hits the air and it leaves that foundation, it starts to dry up. And so I'm just going to continue this process until I am complete. Now here we have the finished project, and doesn't this look fun? This is so fun. Now what we're gonna do with this now, after of course you left it to dry, is we're gonna affix it to our styrofoam flat. And what I did not show you was how I got that length of ribbon, and quite simply I just put my ribbon around my styrofoam flat to see how much I needed, and then I cut the length that I needed, and then I placed my beads down. So now that we have our beads all set and ready, we are going to glue the string of beads onto our styrofoam flat. Now, what I'm going to do here is I am going to lay down my glue, put my hot glue on top of that, and give it a few seconds to make sure that it bonds. The reason why I didn't affix my flat to my vase first and then affix my beads to the standing vase is because the weight of those beads would have pulled down on that hot glue, and we would not have gotten the fix, or even the fix that we needed, excuse me. And so here it is. I'm trying to lift it up to show you what it looks like, and you can see that it's slipping. So I'm just gonna have to leave this flat. I'm gonna continue the process, go all the way around, and when I return, we will have what that looks like. So now we have our finished project. The beads have been affixed to our flat. And what we are going to do now is place our flat onto our foundation, or the three vases that we stuck together. This is what it's going to look like. In order to stick that down, we are going to need, of course, our E6000 glue and our hot glue stick. But I want to warn you that whenever you're working with styrofoam and hot glue, it is an immediate fix, an immediate bonding. And so when you're going in to place your styrofoam flat on your vases, when you're using your hot glue, I just would like to caution you to make sure that wherever you're placing that flat, you are sure that that is where you want it, because trust me when I tell you, that is where it's going to stay. So now just taking my flat with my beads, making sure to part those beads and none of those beads get stuck in that glue, and laying it down where I want it to be, centering it as much as possible. And as you can see here, when I tried to clean it up a little bit, we got some of that styrofoam torn away, but not to worry about that, because I will come back and show you how we're going to cover all of that up with our beautiful flowers. So here we have the flowers that we're going to use to complete this project. And what I'm using here to place inside my fishbowl is just a few twigs of purple and pink flowers. When I bought these from Michael's, the tag didn't even have the type of flower or the name of flower it was, so I can't tell you that. But I'm just taking one of these twigs, I am wrapping it around itself, and I am placing it into this fishbowl. And what I'm gonna do is just take my time to try to meld those two stems together, mix some of the purples with the pinks, mix some of the pinks with the purples, and make sure that none of the flowers are smushed against the glass, or that there's not too many flowers in one area and not enough flowers in the next. Once I have placed those flowers where I think they are in the best position, I am going to now go in with a pink hydrangea, find the middle of my styrofoam, make a place where I'm going to put it by sticking it in, and then we're going to cover that hydrangea with our bowl. All right. Now, in order to get that to fix, of course, we are going to use our hot glue gun, again working with styrofoam, so the hot glue is going to suffice. But just going in with our hot glue, putting some hot glue around the rim of that vase, and then once we finish doing so, making sure that when we place that bowl over our hydrangea, that we're moving those flowers out of the way to make sure that none of them will be left out or even glued down. And again, be very careful where you're placing this and make sure that it's going where you want it, because once that hot glue hits that styrofoam, you're going to be hard pressed to get it to move. Now that we have placed our fishbowl on top of our styrofoam, what we're going to do is now go in with our marigolds and simply place them in our styrofoam around the lip that we're seeing. And what this is going to do, of course, is cover all of that styrofoam that we're seeing, even cover where we glued down our gems onto our styrofoam. And it's going to give our project yet another dimension of finishedness, if I can say, using my license as a teacher, but just giving it that nice, well-rounded look of a completed and finished project. And now I'm just going to continue this as we go all the way around, and then I will come back to show you the finished project. And here you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our eclectic from the inside out wedding centerpiece. As you can see, what I did at the top of those centerpieces is I adorned them with some of those flower mesh embellishments. And then just on the glass around the edges, just to add some consistency, I just went ahead and I scattered some random flowers around the globe of the glass. Aren't they beautiful? I certainly think so. Listen, I would like to take this time to just shout out to our growing community. I want to say that I read your comments, I see your suggestions, I listen to how you tell me you are going to work these crafts into your own events and into your own homes. And I just want to tell you guys from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate every comment and every like that you guys leave on my videos. So I just want to say to all of you, my Danny's darlings, listen, we are a growing community and I am so humbled to be a part of it. I just want to take this time to thank you guys and to say, please continue to watch the videos, continue to leave comments, continue to leave suggestions so that as we grow together, we can become better crafters and we will be able to do bigger and better things. Listen, as usual, my darlings, it has been a pleasure working with you guys, and I look forward until the next time that I will see you again soon. But I say to you, until then, please be well and know that I love you all. Bye now.